This man was driving when he looked at the birds flying in the sky. The next moment he crashed into the lorry in front of him. At that moment, the driver's curses were heard from the car in front of him. The man could only back up and leave some distance. The driver was furious when he saw his car had been hit. The man had to calm down and prepare to deal with it. The man then tried to pay for the damage, but the driver was even more furious. At that moment, a police car came not far away. The man knew that if he didn't solve the problem quickly, it would be very difficult for him to get away. At this time, the driver turned around and saw the police car and waved desperately to the police car. At this point, the man may have a plan in mind. Then the policeman observed the situation. He asked both men to show their IDs. While the police and the driver were talking, he quickly put something in his pocket. Then the man took out the car rental certificate. But that's when the police noticed something strange, because yesterday in the city where the man rented the car, a killer killed a heavily protected billionaire and escaped. Then the police asked to see the boot of his car. Before opening it, the man checked the position of the driver of the van. The cop asked the man to step away. Then they went to check his luggage. At this point, the man looked again at the driver's position. As the cop opened the boot, he realized that the killer was in front of him. The killer didn't hesitate to shoot. Then he threw his pistol to the driver and drew the cop's gun to kill him. He did it because he expected the driver to be untrained. When people panic, they instinctively do what they're told. In confusion, they forget to call for help. Then he wiped the fingerprints off both guns and put them back in the hands of the bodies. He didn't forget to retrieve his ID from the cop's coat pocket. He left the scene before any witnesses could be seen. He set up a shootout between the cop and the driver. It's far-fetched, but he planned it in a matter of seconds. He didn't have to cover it up. He just had to slow down the police investigation to give him time to escape. Soon he saw a number of police cars with their sirens blaring heading towards where he'd come from. For the time being, the police hadn't picked up on his presence. But the thing that bothered him most at the moment wasn't running away. His wife had discovered his secret room, and in it was a full-scale model of his head, fake driver's licenses and passports with all kinds of money and 2 pistols. While the man was fleeing, he received a remote alarm from the chamber. On the monitor, he saw that his wife and his family had discovered his secret. In the past, the wife thought her husband was just a businessman, but now they're likely to guess his true identity. That's the biggest rock hanging over the man's heart. At this point, his wife's family is still arguing about whether or not to call the police. At a loss, his wife's phone rang, so he took the phone to avoid the family. After answering the phone, the man asked his wife to meet him, but his wife did not seem to want to. However, after the man's persuasion, his wife still agreed. Only then did the man smile in satisfaction. After arriving at his destination, the man knew the police would soon find the car. He didn't have time to make a bomb or wipe off his fingerprints. He quickly removed the license plate number and sprayed the area he had touched with some kind of chemical spray. It didn't take long for the chemical to etch the spots. Before he left, he took someone else's car cover and put it over his own. That afternoon, the man put his wedding ring back on and waited for his wife to arrive. But he looks very nervous. Soon after, his wife arrives, but before he could speak, she slapped him. She told him to explain who he really was. Otherwise, she would leave immediately. But the man didn't want to lose his wife, so he cleverly used the information